Yes, I know what you all are thinking. It's been so long since you've uploaded a video, Sam. What is wrong with you? Do you have problems? Um, no, I'm doing quite fine. I'm totally okay. No problems. Just busy, I got stuff to do. I have a life. Today's topic is a very interesting topic because it is something that has begun to be a very prominent topic in my country, Canada, as well as America, and I think many Western countries, for lack of a better term, English-speaking countries. And that topic is fat shaming. Okay? Now, I believe that Japan has culturally, socially, and perhaps even governmentally or politically sanctioned fat shaming. Okay? It is embedded into their culture, their society, and perhaps even their government or their organizational apparatuses. And I will attempt to explain why. So, in my country, Canada, if you see somebody like a friend or whatever, or a coworker or something of that nature, and maybe they've, over the holidays, they put on a little bit of weight, 5-10 pounds. Who knows? You haven't seen them in 3 months, and you can tell. What do you do in that situation? Well, I think the answer is it depends on your relationship with that person. Maybe if they're your son or daughter or mother, maybe you can say something. But even then, it's a little bit iffy, It's a little bit iffy. I remember my mom once told me, are you getting fat? And I said, excuse me, Mom. No, I'm not getting fat. But maybe I was getting a little bit fat. But come on, you can't tell if I put on 2 or 3 pounds, It's not until you gain like 10, 15 pounds that you can really tell. So relax. In Japan, it doesn't have to be your family. It doesn't have to be anybody you're even particularly close with. It is fair game to just tell people to their face, "Oh, 太ったね. 太ったじゃん. You got fat, didn't you? Really putting on the weight there, aren't you?" I remember I was with a friend and we ran into an old teacher of theirs. And the teacher took one look at her. It was a girl. Took one look at her and said, put on some weight, didn't you? Really put on some weight. In Japanese. So, maybe there's kind of a linguistic difference that I'm not picking up on. My translation would be, you got fat, or you put on weight. Futotta. Futotta. If you want to look that one up. Futotta. Futoru. Anyways, I was pretty surprised by that. And off the top of my head, I can't think of many other examples. Oh, I do know one. A friend of mine went back to Japan, and after living in Canada for a while, and a friend of hers told her, "Your legs look like a water buffalo. You look like a water buffalo." And not my translation, that was hers, but that's quite an extreme thing to say. Holy smokes! I wouldn't dream of saying that to a friend, If I see a friend, they gain some weight, I don't know. I don't know if I would mention it at all. But here's the thing. Is it bad? Is it bad that they have this culture? Right? Because you can clearly look at Japan, and you can clearly look at the United States of America, for example, and see that there is much higher rate of obesity in the United States of America than there is in Japan. Japan, per capita, has one of the lowest rates of obesity in the developed world. And that is not a statistic that I actually know for a fact. I'm just deciding that it's true, but it must be true. Somebody look it up for me. So, whatever you feel, however you feel about fat shaming, the fact that they will blatantly say to somebody, "You've gotten fat," creates a pressure where people are willing to go to much greater lengths to ensure that they're not fat. Because if you think about it, you can be in Canada or America and walk around stuffing your face with brownies and and whatever, and on a day-to-day basis, you don't notice that you've put on weight, but you see somebody you haven't seen in, let's say, 4 or 5 months, and they know you've gained weight, but they can't tell you because it's not polite in our society. And so, of course, it hurts to have somebody tell you, hey, you've gained some weight, but the result is that people, in general, gain less weight, or they keep their weight in check better, and because poor diet and lack of exercise is the leading cause of death in the world, maybe not in the world, but in America, that's for sure, maybe it's good if a country has this type of fat shaming culture in a certain way, because then their populace won't have these health complications that are a result of overeating or eating unhealthy and not doing enough exercise. So that's one thing to consider. I'm not saying it's necessarily a fact, but it's one thing to consider. The other thing to consider is, where was I going with that idea? I don't know. Maybe I'll revisit it if I remember it, but getting to the other point, which was, is fat shaming, which is exercise, because of course people can stop doing, can stop eating poor things, but I find that in Japan people actually, people take up new exercise activities in order to stave away their fatness. So, like, I knew somebody that when they went back to Japan, they just started jogging, and not like, any kind of crazy jogs, just jogging like around their house, because they just wanted to lose a little bit of excess weight that they'd had while they were in Canada. Crazy, right? Crazy to think that they would do that. But they did. And it wasn't because they enjoyed it. It wasn't because they, really wanted to focus on their health necessarily. It was primarily because they didn't want their friends and their social acquaintances to say, oh, you've gotten fat. So, anyways, that's the social pressure coming into play, both in terms of correcting diet and stimulating people to do more exercise, which is good. Now, the other aspect is it ingrained not only in their society and culture, but also in their government? I would say perhaps. Why? Well, I recently had to undergo a health check. Okay? All employees of my Board of Education had to undergo this health check. And there was some things on the health check that they noticed, okay, that I had a red flag for. One of which being girth of waist. Yes, that is right, everyone. According to my government Board of Education, I have too much of a girth of waist. Now, let me give you, I'm in my boxers, so I apologize if that's offensive to people, but just check this out. How's this for a girth of waist, huh? Is that a girth of waist? Is that a girth? I'm not going to take my shirt off for you, but look. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Combini eclairs, the donuts, the ice cream over here. What else? Japanese sweets, the red bean paste, custard-filled things. I've been eating all of it, okay? I haven't been holding back one bit. I've probably gained a little bit of weight. But is it really enough to summon me to a health seminar because my girth of waist is beyond a healthy limit? I don't know, man. Maybe the comments in this video are just going to be like, you're fat. Who knows? But this is something to think about. So I feel like also the threshold for what is and is not considered fat is much lower in Japan. I don't think I would be considered fat by nearly anyone back in Canada. But in Japan, apparently, I'm fat. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching my video. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe so that I can get more famous. Please. Thank you. Domo arigato. Bye-bye.